And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Wednesday. It's May 27th. It's 2026. Hope you're having a good day. As always, serious talk on everything that affects you. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, tariffs, oil prices, war, corruption. I'll explain that one in a minute. The demoralizing of Gary continues. I'll explain that in a minute. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. Just put our name in. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. That's all you got to do is be nice. It's very simple. You can disagree with us. We can disagree with you. Just be nice. Just be respectful. We'll be respectful right back. As long as you don't like Hamas. Okay. So, bear with me. Putty, skis, life jackets, rubbing alcohol, deodorant, shoes, soap, tape, shoe polish, perfumes, insecticides, boats, electric products, trash bags, roller skates, hand lotion, wheels, luggage, football helmets, awnings, ice chests, heart valves, vaporizers, crayons, pillows, artificial turf, model cars, folding doors, hair curlers, cameras, telephones, tents, detergents, footballs, eyeglasses, safety glasses, surfboards. By the way, did you know I used to surf? I was not bad. Haven't surfed in a very long time. Tool racks, mops, skis. Did I mention skis? I'm a pretty decent skier too. TV cabinets, floor wax, ballpoint pens. I just named, 40 products that are made with petroleum out of like 6,000 items. Oh, did I mention golf bags? Or slacks or candles? Balloons, crayons, pillows. Golf balls, toothpaste. Anyway, products made from crude, after it's removed from the ground, is sent to a refinery where different parts of the crude oil are separated to usable petroleum products. These petroleum products include gasoline, distillates such as diesel fuel and heating oil, jet fuel, petrochemical feedstocks, waxes, lubricating oils, and asphalt. A U.S. 42-gallon barrel of crude oil yields about 45 gallons of petroleum products in U.S. refineries because of refinery processing gain. I have no idea what that means. This increase in volume is similar to what happens to popcorn when it's popped. Okay, I get that. Petroleum products include transportation fuels, fuel oils for heating, electricity generation, asphalt and road oil, and feedstocks for making the chemicals, plastics, synthetic materials that are in nearly everything we use. Of the approximately 7.21 billion barrels of total U.S. petroleum consumption that's 2016, 47% was motor gasoline, includes ethanol, 20% was distillate fuel, heating oil and diesel fuel, and 8% was jet fuel. I guess this was written back in 16. Oil prices were down $4 and change today. Just wanted to bring that up. That's how important it is. That's how huge it is. That's how gargantuan it is. Every dime counts. Most of us only see it when you go to the gas pump. And for the very wealthy, it's a fly on an elephant's rear end. For the wage worker, it's a real pain in the arse. For lower income, a pain in the arse. Hopefully, we're now going to see the downside. That's the hope. We still have no deal with Iran. I don't watch the president anymore, but I had to today because they did a cabinet meeting on TV. I don't watch them anymore. I just get snippets because it's tiresome. And I've got to verify everything that's said. And I must state today he said 14 different things about Iran. So I don't know where it stands. I wish I could tell you. But oil was down another $4 today. And I gather that has to do with a couple of things. By the way, there's still like fighting going on. There's still some of that crap going on. But I guess the thought process, it's in the wind down. That's what I guess. It's just a guess. And that's what's doing it, I think. And let's hope it continues. I was at a gas station the other day. This is a true story. And I helped pay for somebody's gas. They ran out of debit on the debit card, I guess. It was a woman. And she was just like kind of in tears. I filled up her gas tank. I think there's a lot of that going on. And it really affects Uber and Lyft drivers, delivery people, you name it. I am surprised that the trucking stocks are acting so well, even before this drop. That is interesting. Now we know if it drops, guess what was strong today? Airlines and cruise lines. Direct correlation. So just want to let you know, muy importante. And I heard the president say today, and I know he does, but he said he doesn't care. He only cares about them not being able to get nuclear, but I know he cares. I don't know if that's him trying to be John Wayne or not, whatever. We think oil prices are huge. We'll let you know if anything changes. But good day today. And if prices stay where they are at the close today, in about a week you'll see a marked improvement at the pump. Marked improvement at the pump. The USO in the last 6 days has dropped from 154 to 131. 23. What is that? About 14%. And USO is an ETF that we follow. It's the measurement of light sweet crude. So good day for that. A mixed day for everything else today, but I must state for the record, really no damage done on any pullbacks at all. I'll go through it one by one. What's sticking out and all that. Now, before you send me emails about why I don't watch the president anymore, I go, it's simple why I didn't watch Biden. I'm tired of bull crap. I get whatever information I need. The amount of lies and embellishments is laughable. It's almost comedy at this point in time. And he doesn't have to. Up next, the markets, movers, everything. This is Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So at the outset today, pre-market, it looked like another real hot open in the market. Another very hot open. And immediately they were selling down all the leaders, and pretty darn hard. But when all was said and done, I'm going to call it a no biggie, because if something goes up $40 and drops 10, it's a no biggie. So I'm going to call a bunch of no biggies as I go through things today. But the Dow was up 182. In the Dow today, because lower interest rates, because of lower oil, the housing and housing related is better. So guess what's up today in the Dow? Home Depot, which has very weak earnings and sales and is way down in its bearish trend, but was still up $7, and that's about 45 Dow points. Yet bounces in Boeing, something about aircraft, up 5. Amazon was up 6. And guess what? That is retail. And guess what does better when interest rates come down and oil prices come down? Retail, the consumer. And that's why we mentioned at the outset travel and things like that. And guess what? If anything's consumer, it would be Amazon, don't you think? So as oil prices come down, that can be a good thing. So Amazon was a help. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, the star of the show, at one time today was down over 300, finished only down 174. Now that may sound like, oh wow, no, it's nothing compared to its recent rise. It's bounced just a few days ago off the moving average. It was like 10,900. Closed at 12.7 today. It's amazing moves in the semis. And they pulled some back, some worse than others. The equipment makers like KLAC down 53. Actually, I should do percentages, right? Because that's not a big percentage. 2.7%, ASML 2.5%, and there were others that were worse. But again, I wouldn't call them biggies. And some weird movements also. I can tell you Qualcomm was down 21, and in the final seconds only finished down 15, and just a wild swinger. But all in ARM down 18 today. That was 6%. So there were a few 3, 4, 5, 6%ers. But let me repeat for the record, no biggie. Monolithic Power swung 100 points from up 60 to down 40. So I had a little bit of that. But let me repeat, no biggie on the semis. So the Dow was up. S&P was up 1. NASDAQ was up 18. Minuscule, was down 27 on the NASDAQ 100, no biggie. Again, strength today, housing related. Retail's better, but don't ask Dick's Sporting Goods, that was down like 7% on their numbers. Abercrombie and Fitch was up 6 and change, was up 10 on their numbers. I didn't think they were that good. And cruise lines, airlines, hotels had a good day. Travel related, the consumer, even the lowly restaurants. And when I mean lowly, there's some restaurants that are just way down. They were up today. But overall mixed. Advanced declines were mixed. Up-down volume was mixed. I really shouldn't mention new highs because everything was up on the open, immediately sold off, but that would register a new high. A few things stuck out. Meta. In case you don't know, Meta announced, by the way, very weak stock, announced that they're going to charge for some subscriptions. You can look up exactly what that means. It was a few bucks for here and there, and they're going to give you this and that on Facebook or on Instagram. That's the other one. And Meta jumped for $23, and again, very weak. I'd like to tell you it moved back above the 50-day moving average, and it did, but not the greatest look I'd ever tell you. And something else stuck out for me today. You know the CEO, J.P. Morgan, right? Jamie Dimon, one of the icons of the business world. Icons. I have followed his career forever. I remember when he started out, he worked for a guy named Sanford Wheel. I think he got fired, and then he started this, that, and then he did this, that, and he ended up J.P. Morgan running the show. He's at an investor conference today. And you know what he tells the investor conference? Okay, the market he thinks is too high priced. Okay. And then he says his own stock is too high priced. His stock dropped $10. And by the way, that's a big drop for JP Morgan. Finished down 7.5. But he knocked his own stock down. I'm not so sure if I'm CEO of a company, I'm ever uttering the words, my stock price is too high. Ever. Even if I believe it. There's no reason to even mention it. For me, that was on the weird side today. That was weird. What else? Gold and silver, not happy still. And the climactic move late January, especially in silver, we had said to you, typically a climactic move like that, especially silver, it's going to be a long while. That's what climactic moves are. They're ends of moves. For minimum, the short term, usually most likely the intermediate term, which is months, not necessarily the long term. And that's what's happened. The SLV, which hit almost 110 on the climactic move, it's 67.5. By the way, it was down to 70 within 2 days. That's how climactic moves look like. They look like the Eiffel Tower. Actually a little sharper than the Eiffel Tower. That's how we know next time we see one in something else, we'll be able to see it and call it. We had it in Tilray, the marijuana thing, a few years back, and there were some others. I think GameStop did one also when it went through that meme thing. The meme thing. And we'll let you know when they turn up in a meaningful way. Up next, what else? What you're asking about. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. To this day, the most asked about things I get asked about is crypto and Bitcoin, and not Ethereum, but Bitcoin. As you know, we had stated early April, looks like got back above the 50-day moving average, and we'll see what happens. And then you got a little stair step up. But about 7-8 days ago, we had warned you, it looks like they had topped, especially the Ethereum. That looked like just a big breakdown. I'm just letting you know nothing good has happened since. And we'll let you know if it changes. It can change quickly. It's back in bearish hibernation. And just so you know, The short term is turned down. Now, even though it came off the lows, still the bigger picture was not great. But just letting you know, and things like Coinbase and MicroStrategy, they're just absolute horror shows. Absolute horror shows. So just letting you know, in spite of all the talk and the touting and the schmucks telling you it's going to be 1.5 million, excuse my French, but they deserve the word. What's her face? Predicts it by 2030. 2030. Because things always go up 20-fold within 3.5, 4 years, right? 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 Close at 75,250. Anyway, I believe the reason I get so many questions about it is because I believe a lot of people are in it. And I think there is a component that they're in it at much higher prices. Because near the highs, the amount of yapping and touting and yelling and screaming about it, and it's going to go to here and there and there. So we're just letting you know, I don't think you need any new... I'm not going to tell you to sell. You guys decide on that. But I just think no new commitments at this juncture. And I'm actually a little surprised because it was pretty much moving hand in hand for a long while with other things. And the other things are doing better, but this ain't. And again, we'll let you know if it changes. We have no bias. If it turns bullish, we will gladly tell you. Ethereum is doubly dead, by the way. They don't even talk about that one anymore. They don't even talk about it anymore. Let's see, the high was 40. Let's call it 16. You add it up. Was that 60% from last August? And every time I see somebody yap about it, I pretty much want to throw up. And as I have said to you, I saw one person ask, what's the fundamentals behind it? And you can tell that person was kind of gagging on it. And we know what they said? Well, because there's a limited amount. Yeah, that's fundamentals. I hope it works out. I do. The other areas of the market picked up today, and that's good to see. Off of the lower rates, they've been held back by the lower rates, the higher rates, and the oil. So better. Federal Express finished at a new yearly high today. As I mentioned, rails, truckers better. Viking Cruise Lines, which has been the strongest cruise lines, new high. The other ones are much farther down. Marriott, new high. Hilton right behind it. Delta, new high. Other airlines not nearly as strong. And even the housing names bounced today, though they're just in a bear market. As far as oil stocks, all I can tell you is that the big oil, which is the XLE, trading below the 50-day, and in the Dow is Chevron. It's been really blasted. BP blasted. Occidental below the 50-day. Just avoid those. The XOP, which is the exploration and production, that's a goner, which leaves the oil services, OIH, that's stronger than the previous two, but that looks topped for now. So roughed up, and just beware. If oil prices keep going down, they will not perform. But the news is fluid. I heard the president, believe it or not, got a question today about Oman and helping out, trying to negotiate with Iran. And the president said, well, if Oman, something to the effect, doesn't fall in line, we'll blast them to smithereens also. I'm like, what? Just so weird. We just hope for good outcome. As we have said to you, this whole thing was miscalculated. Did not even think of what the pushback would be or the blowback. And thus, I believe that whatever deal is going to come is going to be not even close to the deal. I can't believe I'm even going to say this, that Obama had. We are hearing that they're going to unleash assets of Iran in the billions back to them, in the billions, way above what Obama did. And remember, the Republicans, all they've done is complained about that. We'll see. Nothing's done yet, but it's been put out there by multiple people and media. I hope it's wrong. I hope it's wrong. And while the president says they have control of the strait, Iran's saying, screw you. Ain't happening. So we don't know what is. I wish the president wasn't an habitual. We don't believe anything he says. We don't believe anything they say. And he's earned that. Hate saying that. And then elections, and that's going to be important going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, if the Democrats win the House and the Senate, we're going to have 2 years of I don't know what, but it's not going to be good. And while I can't stand this Republican Party, I'd rather have them than Democrats running committees and things like that. But something's happening that really worries the heck out of me. And that is Republican crooks are being foisted out there and winning the primaries. If you have a chance, go look at the background of the gentleman who won the primary against John Cornyn yesterday. A man that was impeached by his own party for corruption, paid $300,000 to settle fraud charges, felony fraud, has been under investigation for mortgage fraud, stole a $1,000 pen from another lawyer, amongst other things. And the Republican voters voted him big time over the last guy because the president endorsed him. When I say I'm demoralized, this is what demoralizes. And now there's a very good chance you may have a Democratic senator in Texas. The polling right now has the Dem leading by double digits. And that wouldn't have been with the other guy. Up next, we'll expound, head back to the markets, and all that. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Anyway, I'm just making the point that if we have crooked people running the country, we're just screwed. Biden and his family corrupt. Trump and his family, my goodness gracious. All the insider trading by the people in the House and Senate that we'd go to jail for, that they don't even get ethically challenged. People on the committees for defense, trading in defense stocks before news announcements. Oh, by the way, How about the massive, unbelievable bets on shorting and longing oil and shorting and longing the market before major announcements from the presidents on war? How about, by the way, the Dems are going to be subpoenaing all those records if they win all the committees. Oh, that's going to be a blast. It's demoralizing. AOC, you know her, right? There's talk of her running for president. Lovely. Omar put in her financials she was worth 25 to 30 million bucks. Then took it all away. I'm only worth 90,000. Oh, sure. Nothing going on there. Who's that other creep? Santos. He was kicked out. And then the president pardons a guy who committed massive fraud his whole life. As well as, by the way, the president's pardoned a bunch of white-collar criminals that no longer have to pay restitution to the victims, yet the administration is doing a big thing on fraud. We're going after fraud. While they're pardoning fraud. Oh, who, by the way, give millions to their super PAC. Demoralizing. I don't know if we can ever roll any of this back. The precedents that are being set, let me repeat, demoralizing. This guy in Texas may just lose and possibly lose the Senate for the Republicans because the president decided to endorse a creep. Demoralized. And these people are all running the country. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm always hopeful, but I'm always realistic. Hoping for better. We're not getting it. Hey, back on the markets. Nothing bad happens if oil prices continue to drop. Nothing bad happens if yields drop. The cost of capital and the cost of energy is the big 1-2 punch. I said to you 6,000 products are made with petroleum. I mentioned just a few. We cannot get this thing done soon enough. The good news is, even though it's not done, it looks like the oil market is predicting being done. I cannot begin to tell you how important this is as we move forward. Next, what's the second most question I get? NVIDIA. Nothing but selling since earnings. On great earnings and revenue growth. Third time in a row. I don't know. For those that are asking, I don't know. I can think of one component that I'm seeing contracts being signed with other companies and their chips, but that doesn't change the fact that NVIDIA and their guidance is magnificent. And by the way, whenever they guide, they don't usually BS, and they usually beat their guidance. So I don't know. All we can tell you, it's been under pressure. It's oversold. Maybe it bounces from here. I don't know. I'm agnostic at this juncture. My last trade on NVIDIA, I lost money. And as you know, in 24, the beginning of the year, we nailed it. And we nailed the next breakout after it. But this last one, Gary, no good. Lost a little bit. That's the second most important question. How do we know people have a bunch? Because they ask. And I'm getting some queries on SpaceX and the IPO. Initial public offering from Schwab. That gets some. All I can tell you, all evidence in, it's coming out at a ridiculous valuation. And when I say ridiculous, I mean ridiculous. I mean over the top ridiculous valuation. Hasn't come out yet. That valuation can change, but demand is so strong that it will come out at a ridiculous valuation. And you know, when I tell you something's coming out at a ridiculous valuation, remember that. Quite a few others in the past, we saved your you-know-what. You remember Rivian. And how about the 30 or 40 or 50 names in the last 2 years that we kept saying to you, don't be buying this IPOs. Most of them have crumbled. You'll have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like I do. Simple. Make sure you hug your family and hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Until tomorrow, peace out all, and good night.